Hey YouTube, what is up? It's CS back here with another installment, and here is my review for episode 32 of Deadliest Warrior, Between the Vampire and Zombie. Yes, of course, guys, 32 episodes of Deadliest Warrior, and now this is the finale of the third season. What a season it was, very eventful. Of course, the addition of Mac provided a new dimension to the show. Now you have a warrior on the panel of hosts. Pretty cool right there. And then of course the new format, added the addition of X factors, providing for a more accurate representation of what can actually happen in real life. Although, again, entirely subjective and hypothetical. Who knows what would actually happen in real life. But in this case, in this episode, this shit's impossible. Vampire versus zombie. First time we've ever seen fictional entities go at it, in Deadliest Warrior. What can I say? Pretty insane episode. Of course, the vampire ended up coming out on top. I didn't think the vampire would. Basically, I was picking quantity over quality, and here, quality won out. But before I get to breaking down the tests, we kind of have to look at the vampires and zombies that they were using in this episode. Of course, the vampire they were using in this episode were basically the ones from 30 Days of Night. And rightfully so, they had Steve Niles, the creator of that series, be one of the vampire experts on the show. His vampires here consisted of, their serrated teeth, of course, their vampire claws, superhuman sense, strength, speed, intelligence. They're the ultimate predator. How the hell do you kill it? Sunlight. Rip out its heart. Decapitate it. Yeah, that's a tough task because, again, superhuman strength, speed, and sense. Those things aren't donkeys. Now, moving on, let's take a look at the vampire's counterpart in this episode, in the zombie. Of course, it can't match the vampire in terms of strength, speed, or sense. Doesn't have the claws, it doesn't have the serrated teeth. But for the most part, the zombie is still pretty strong, and that thing is relentless. Its endurance is through the roof. It's just gonna keep going. The thing is just an Energizer bunny trying to spread its virus among the living and hopefully, kill them and turn them into zombies. It just wants to spread its virus. That's its intention, and it's willing to sacrifice itself to do so, just as long as it carries on to the next person or persons. So yeah, clumsy as fuck those zombies are, but if it just can affect you, the job gets done. Of course, the only way to kill a zombie is to penetrate its brains and give it a kill shot via taking it out like that. Of course, the vampire was able to do so in this episode. If you guys saw the tests, the vampire bite with the serrated teeth was nasty, and it was definitely enough to go through the zombie skull as well as the vampire claws. That was a nasty ass test as well. What can I say? Superhuman strength and speed with that claw, just fast ass swipe, really hard as well. And that vampire bite, it can definitely get to a zombie skull. Of course, they use an alligator to bite down on something, and they use that to plug into the pneumatic jaw with the vampire teeth on it. And Steve Niles used that on the torso's head. And yeah, that was pretty much all she wrote for that torso and that skull. Nasty test. And again, with the claws, we saw that world champion Speedbreaker just run through a bunch of zombies, just swiping at shit. We also saw a strong man do a hammer fist on this scale, 1,470 pounds of pressure. Apparently, the vampires are times 6 stronger than star athletes, so they times 1,470 pounds of pressure times 6, and plug that into the vampire claw, and they had that thing swipe at zombie skull, and the results were catastrophic, taking it out in about a second. So what can I say? Vampire tests. Yeah, the zombie had a tough task ahead of him, even with the numbers. So taking a look at the zombies tests, we had the zombie bite. They had a dog bite on something instead of an alligator. Of course, the zombie had that much significantly less of a bite in terms of power when you compare that to, of course, the vampire's alligator, jaws. But for the most part, that dog bite was still pretty deadly, and of course, that would kill human if the dog was to bite, human in the jugular. But against a vampire, it took a while, so obviously it couldn't get the job done as well as the vampire. It just makes sense. Vampire, serrated teeth, and way harder bite. So, of course it's better than whatever the zombie's going to throw up. Now, it's not, what can you do? It's just, it don't get much better than that. And then, of course, the vampire hands, they had three strong men rip into a gel torso of a vampire trying to pursue its heart. And, yeah, for the most part, they were successful at ripping through that shit. Obviously, it took a lot of time compared to the vampire's single swipe. So, yeah, vampires definitely won out in the tests. So then X factors were looked at, and here the zombies actually won the majority of the X factors. They got brutality, feeding instinct, endurance. 100 on endurance, pretty impressive. Although the vampires really did trail a heck of a whole lot in those X factors, but the zombies trailed heavily in the one that mattered the most, and that is intelligence. They had a 9, under 10, yes, 9. Compared to the 93 of the vampires. Vampires, of course, very intelligent, and obviously with that intelligence and with its superhuman speed and strength, with their very small numbers they're able to just move through the horde of zombies, and that's exactly what we saw in the sim. And in that sim, we had that one vampire versus 63 zombies times 3. So we can just stretch the sim out, so it's just not that short, so you just don't see one vampire just run through 63 zombies really fast. I thought that they did sim really well, nice urban environment, and you get to see the vampire kind of run and try to strategize and do its thing. So, for the most part, I did like the sim. I like how the vampire was looking for a way out at one point, and looked outside and saw that there was sunlight out, and he was like, fuck that, I'd rather go up against zombies. And that it did, and ended up taking all the zombies out. So out of the 3 vampires and 189 zombies, only 1 vampire lived, and that is the winner, the vampire. So yeah, what do you guys think of that fight? What can I say? I thought that quantity was going to win out over quality. I was wrong. And yeah, I guess I do agree with the result. I wanted the better warrior to win, and in the end, the better warrior did win. So I'm happy. What can I say? Now I gotta ask you, did you guys agree with the result, and did you like the episode? Tell me in the comment section below. Again, my links are in the description below as well, so please check that out if you are, willing. Subscribe if you like what you see, if you haven't already, and thank you for all the support. Season 3 of Deadliest Warrior, I feel, was a success. If you want to comment on that too, please do. And yeah, I guess I'll see you for next season. I really appreciate all the support once again. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, and take care.